Hi Year 7, hope you're all well. Today we're going to be going on to our second lesson of Greek theatre. So let's just recap what we learned last week. So first off, this is an amphitheatre. So the amphitheatre is the Greek theatre that the Greeks were performing. So it's a very large stadium-like theatre and it is open air. So it's an open air venue used for entertainment, performances and sports. So the meaning of the word amphitheatre means a place for viewing. Now, common problems include they're unable to show day or night because obviously there is no lighting and it is open air, so you kind of have to work around the times of the day. The weather, obviously, if it's open air, there is risk of snow, there's risk of rain. Okay, think about that and it could affect the actors performing. And they didn't have all our technology, so no microphones. So think about what they did in order to be able to show to the audience way at the back what character they were playing. They would show the masks and they would wear their masks in order to show that. So first off, I would like you to watch this video link. I did include this in last week, but I would like you to just rewatch it. It's only 1 minute and 40 seconds long because it sets out a real good outline into Greek theatre and a bit of an introduction. And the link for this will be on the assessment. So if you could pause the video here and go watch that video for me. There are 2 links here. They both lead to the same video, but it's just in case if one of them doesn't work. So what we're going to be doing in the second lesson is identifying elements of different performance styles and genres. So today we'll be communicating how to express a story in an alternative way. Understanding how to communicate meaning in different ways is such an important skill. So can you think of an example of when you would need to use this skill? So we have to use it in everyday life. You have to alter the way that you speak to people. So you necessarily wouldn't speak to your friends the way you would speak to your teachers. You would communicate slightly differently. So example careers this could help you is if you're a higher education lecturer, you're having to adapt your knowledge to be able to teach people and you're having to communicate to people that possibly don't know what you're 100% talking about. And they're normally 18 years old or so. But in contrast, so a nursery worker, they're going to have to communicate with 2 and 3 year olds. So they're going to have to alter their voices and alter the way that they are speaking in order to be able to communicate with the children. So think about how you're going to be able to do that. So lesson outcomes. Overall, we're going to be able to show an understanding of a different style and genre of theatre through a basic knowledge of the conditions, plot and character types. That is the overall lesson outcome. So I would like you to just pause the video here, have a look at those 4 lesson outcomes and think about which one you are aiming for and which one you think you'll be able to achieve. All of us should be able to do the one in the red, so beginning. Most of us should be able to do the working towards. Some of us will be able to do secure and some of us will be able to do the mastered. So have a look and think about which one you are aiming for and which one you could realistically do. So we're going to be working on the SMSC question first. So first off, I'd like you to write this down for me and write down the answers. So variety of the spice of life. What does this actually mean and how does this link with what we are about to do? So I'd like you to write this down. Write the answer for this down on paper. So think about what variety means. If you've got a variety of something, what does that mean? And what does the spice of life mean? And what does it actually mean? So, and how do you think you can link to what we're about to do? So we're about to learn a lot more about different styles and genres. So you might need to Google this to be able to help you, but have a look and see what you could think of. And I'd like you to write down the answer for me. So, vocal skills or verbal communication. We're going to just be revisiting our different vocal skills that we have learned in a bit more detail. So, many actors begin their interpretation of a character by finding a suitable voice. There are a number of different vocal elements you should consider. So, first off, pitch, speaking in a high or low or natural voice. So it can change the way it can show if you are younger. So if you are younger, you normally speak in a higher pitch, whereas if you are lower or if you are a female playing a man, you will lower your voice a lot more to show to the audience that you're that. Pace, the speed at which someone speaks. So if you're speaking very slow, it could show that you are tired. It could show that you are bored. If you're speaking very fast, it could show that you are nervous or you're in a hurry. Pause. So pause in speech could really create a comedic moment or dramatic moment. So think about when you're watching films, a lot of the times if there is a pause, it can be used to make you laugh for an awkward situation, or it could be used to create a lot more drama. So tone. So the tone shows your mood, so whether you're happy or you are sad. So I'm able to easily identify if someone's how somebody is feeling, and you should be able to as well with the way that their tone is. So if they're sat here like this and they're, you know, they come across a bit more like this, you can tell they're a bit more tired. Whereas I can tell you that I'm really happy today with the way that I'm speaking. So think about that and the way that you can use that. Volume, how loud or quiet your voice is. So remember, you need to be able to use your volume in order to make the audience hear you. And obviously if you have more of a quiet voice, it could show that you are a bit more of a quiet character and a bit more shy. Accent, you may be talking about how someone has achieved a convincing accent or how the choice of accent has enhanced their characterization. So for example, if you're playing a character that lives in Liverpool, you'll have to be able to put on a Liverpudlian accent for you to be able to achieve the perfect characterization. So you'll have to learn that and practice that. It also can help the audience to understand where the play is set if all the characters have a similar accent. So write that down for me. Emphasis, the pressure on individual words to help them stand out. So we've all used emphasis before. It can change the way that a sentence is portrayed. So for example, you could say, what are you doing today? Could be quite invasive. Or you could say, what are you doing today? With the emphasis on today. So I've just showed you an example of 2 different ways you could say a sentence by just using emphasis on a specific word. If you are reading a play, the emphasis would be in italics, so that would be the emphasis on the word. So intonation is the rise and fall of a voice. So for example, there's a clear movement at the end of a sentence when we ask for questions. So for instance, if I was asking a question, I'll be like, what are you doing today? What are you doing today? So it shows a slight bit of upward pitch with the intonation to show that it's a bit of a question, and it helps people to identify that. So I'd like you to pause the video here and write these definitions down for me. So the task, I would like you to first off copy down this definition. Choral speech is a group of people narrating as an ensemble, either at the same time or talking sections of a speech to speak individually but as a group. So a choral speech, we've all seen it before, we've probably seen it in musicals. They'll have a chorus, they'll have an ensemble that will tell the audience a bit more detail about the story or some emotions. So this originated in Greek theatre, so they use this a lot in order to help the audience understand the story a little bit more. And what we're going to be learning today in some physical aspects is our pace of speaking, tonal variation, clarity of pronunciation and vocal projection. So an example of Greek chorus, the link is in the assessment. So I'd like you to watch this video of a Greek chorus example. So pause the video here, go onto the assessment, find the link, it will be in the description of the assessment, and then copy that into your internet and then watch that. It's about a 3-minute long video. So after watching it, I would like to write down your notes in the answer to the following questions. So write down what vocal skills from the previous slide you saw the actors using. So have a look at this slide and watch which of these vocal skills did you see them do, okay? So I'd like you to write a list of some of those examples down. And number 2, how does the way they use their voices change the mood of the performance? So you've just watched it for the first time. Think about the way they've used these. So did they add emphasis on a word which made you feel a bit nervous? Did they change the pitch which made it a bit uncomfortable? Did they change their volume which made it a bit more funny, for example? So think about that. So I'd like you to answer those 2 questions on your piece of paper or Word document. So let's put it into practice. So I would like you to first off read through this choral speech. There is an attachment to the assessment which has this available, so you are able to have edit it on the assignment and submit it straight away. If you're doing it on paper, I'll explain what you need to do. So first off, read through this choral speech. Number 2, write on each line a different vocal technique we have learned. So for instance, for the first one, morning time and Sarah awakes, you could just put next to it that pitch. So you want to alter the pitch, okay? So you could say, I want to alter it to a high pitch or a low pitch, okay? So think about that. Number 3, I'd like you to write on each line how many actors you would want to say the line. So in a Greek chorus, not everyone would speak at the same time all at once. Some people would take individual lines as well. So you could say for the first line, I want 1 actor to speak, but on the second line, I would like 5 actors to speak, okay? Keep it between 1 and 20, okay? Now, if you're doing this on paper, write the number of the line. So I've put there, next to each of the lines, a number. So to save you having to write the whole line out, you just need to write the number and then next to it, the vocal technique. So you could say 1, and the vocal technique is tone. So you could change it to a happy tone and then say that you want 2 actors to say that, for example. Okay, so after you've had a go at that, I would like you to have a practice of saying this speech with the vocal techniques you have added. So if you're a director or you're trying to write something out and trying to help people decide what they want to do with this choral speech, you're going to need to have a practice as well. Now, normally we would do this in lesson, but it's really good for you to have a go at trying to do all these different vocal skills and vocal techniques to be able to have a go at saying all these different words and the different lines and how you think it could come across, okay? Just experiment with it a little bit. And also try your best to specify, if you want them to add an accent, say what accent. If you want them to change their pitch, do you want it to be a high pitch or a low pitch? And if you want it to be a tone, say, is it happy or sad? Same with pace. So if it's pace, do you want it to be a fast pace or a slow pace? So that's what I would like you to do for this task. So pause the video here, have a go at this task. Like I said, the attachment, if you're doing this on a computer, you can use the Word document that I have attached to this assignment because you can edit it and all the instructions are on there. So once you're done with that and had a go at practice, I would like you to aim higher. So have a go at adding vocal techniques with different amounts of actors, but saying it on specific words rather than the lines. So for example, you've probably said initially, right, so for the first line, morning time and Sarah awakes, I would like this to be a high pitch and I would like 2 actors to say it. That's brilliant, you've done the first task. Now, to aim higher, what I would like you to do, you could say, right, for morning time, I would like that to be done in a happy tone, said by 1 person. And then I would like and Sarah awakes to be said with a sad tone by 10 people. Okay? For example, and also for example on line 4, slowly, slowly she rises from her bed. You could say for slowly and slowly, I want to use a slow pace, said by 1 person. And then the rest of the line, she rises from her bed, I want to be said by 3 actors in a high pitch. So it's just giving you a bit of an example because normally it wouldn't be line by line, it could be specific words. So 1 person could say 1 word with a really loud volume and everyone say the rest. So it's just give you an example of ways that you could perform it. And as you can see, there's some pictures of what the Greek chorus would actually look like on stage. Obviously, they would have their theatre masks. So if you can see on the one on the left, they have the full mask, so they wouldn't be able to speak very well. But then you've got the ones on the right that have the half mask, so they're able to actually speak to the audience. Now, let's see how much you have learnt this lesson. So what I would like you to do is follow the link to access the end of lesson quiz. So this is in the assessment. So follow that link. You will have to probably copy and paste it into your internet. And I would like you to complete the 4 questions. They are multiple choice. And once you have done, I would like you to send me your scores. So just a reflection. How can you push your level up? Okay, think about your target setting. Although we're not doing practical work, still think about how much you have grown whilst doing drama while working from home. So what have we done today? Well, we've learnt, we've recapped what we did last lesson. We've learnt about our vocal skills again, so we've recapped that in a bit more detail. We've learnt about choral speech, and we have also put it into practice. So, have you worked well today? Can you give me an example? So think about if you've worked well today. Think about where you've currently got up to. Don't worry if you've not managed to finish everything, but where did you get up to? Which parts did you struggle with a little bit more? What was the purpose of doing today and how did it fit with our topic? So the purpose of today was to learn a bit more about the Greek chorus and using Greek chorus, and it fits with our overall theme and our overall topic of creating Greek theatre. So what impact does the use of choral speech have on the audience? So that's to analyse. So think about when you watched that example video of the Greek chorus, how did you feel when watching that? Okay, what impact did it have on you? It could make it really dramatic, it could make it quite comedic, it can make the audience a lot more focused and a lot more engaged, and also it can make them aware of the story a lot more, okay? So this is the end of the lesson. Really well done for today, everyone. Can you make sure that you please send me your work on Teams? Now, if you've done it on the Word document for this task, you need to submit it straight away onto the onto the assignment. And then if you have done the forms, can you just send me it on the chat of what mark you got in the quiz. If you've done it on paper, you will need to take a picture and send it to me on Teams. If you're struggling, you can email it to me as well, okay? So really well done for today's lesson, and next week we're going to be carrying on in a bit more detail about Greek theatre to learn a lot more about how we can perform it, okay? Really well done, everyone, and have a lovely day. Bye.